and welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. So I am sitting, kind of standing under a tree on our property, and it's a cool looking tree. I don't know what kind. It is, sunny day, nice weather out today, and so I thought I would just come out and talk to you guys. I'm trying to get more frequent with the content that I'm putting up. The other stuff we've got going on is my husband was just tending to bees, so we've now have 2 hives. I don't know if he's going to separate to make a 3rd hive. We had 1 hive that didn't make it. We also had 5 guinea fowl that none of them made it. One of them got rolled under the chicken tractor, and so that was really bad, and my husband was holding it, the guinea fowl and stuff, hoping it would make it, and everything it didn't. And then they were all in the orchard, which is a fenced off area, and they were sort of separate from the chickens. So they're just kind of like in the area. They did not have a shelter of any kind. And one of them got out of the fenced off orchard and got eaten by an eagle. And then the other 3, that ended up happening to them as well. I think they were just far enough away from the other chickens, and they were just right by the fence, and I think there was enough open space that a hawk could just, so now we have about 18. We ended up purchasing more guineas, and we have about 18 that are in a brooder box or whatever right now. So we're hoping that they will last, and they're going to help us with our tick situation, because we're having so many ticks this year, like so many. Just a lot of ticks on the dogs and stuff, and it's kind of driving us crazy. So anyway, so that's happening. So more guinea fowl will be part, and then we have a couple of eggs that we incubated, so we have a couple of more chickens that are going to be added to our regular egg chickens. And then we still have about 50, actually more like 48, 49, something like that, meat birds in the chicken tractor, which I think you can see. And yeah. Here we have our guinea fowl. We have this is their little breeding box, but some of them are getting big enough to, ooh, that smells special. You can see them in there, getting big enough to fly, so that's why we kind of have them covered up. They're quite cute. They're not as cute when they're grown, but they're cute now. And then those are 2 of our chickens that we incubated. And I think my husband tried to introduce these 2 chickens, and some of the other chickens were kind of being aggressive. So he's trying to figure out, what to do. They're just interesting looking. And then we are also building a small building. And it's going to be our property. We're going to rent it out as a short-term rental. We're excited about that. And so I'll be definitely just wanted to show you guys the decking. This is part of the decking of the building that we're building. So as you can see, it's a bunch of pizza slice shaped pieces, or just triangles, obviously. So this is going to be like the base of the decking. So as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're kind of stacked on top of each other, so large triangles. And then on this side, the other one's leaning against them. There's 5 of those, so 10 in total. And this is going to be the bottom of the decking, I believe, and all that. So I wanted to show you guys that we're working on. There'll be definitely more about the building and all that coming up. Yes, we'll be adding that, and then we're also making home decor. So we're making trays. We made a plant stand. I want to make a jewelry organizer, and a very sculptural jewelry organizer that I'm excited about. I've also just done coasters and things like that, so we'll be adding more wood products as we go, but we're kind of just getting started, so I'm excited about that. lots going on. I just got back from a trip to Atlanta to see my family. My husband stayed here because, you know, we have kind of a farm and animals to take care of, and also 2 dogs that, you know, would be a small fortune to put in a kennel. Anyway, so he stayed here and we went to Atlanta to visit my family, and it's just one of those things. So I think, like, with everybody, family is complicated, and with me it's the same. And it's like there's so many good things and so many not great things kind of mixed together. It's complicated. My parents, I do, but it's just, it's been a very, like, limited relationship for a long time. And so the thing that is lovely about them, and I mean there's lots of things that are lovely about them, but there's also things that are complicated, but they just love the kids, and they love to spoil the kids, and they, you know, so I just kind of resigned myself that I was there for the kids. And I love my parents. I just don't get a lot out of the interactions or whatever, and, you know, that is what it is. But anyway. It was kind of one of those visits where I just went for my kids, and because my relationship with my family is kind of complicated, and it's just not. It's complicated, but, you know, again, she's had strokes, and sometimes because my mom has had strokes, the things don't always flow together in a nice way. She's very unfiltered, and I know that, and I know that intellectually, but it's still hard to deal with when things come out in sort of a cruel, insensitive way. And then one of my mechanisms to dealing with that is to be sort of sarcastic and almost like hyperbolic and silly. Those are my ways to deal with it, and those end up being, oh, you're being mean, and I'm thinking, I'm not calling you mean. I'm not calling you mean. I'm just like, you know, so I just get frustrated with that because it's my only, like, mode of defense that's not going to end with me cussing her out. And, you know, just mean and thoughtless and just careless with the stuff that comes out of your mouth. And you have no regard for how I'm taking it in, and, you know, it doesn't even register. Like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just bitch you out every moment that we're together and cuss at you and yell at you? Like, that's not going to do anything. That's not going to be helpful. Depression is sort of, it's difficult. So it's like, I notice with her, she doesn't stay on topic in a conversation. She will not stay on topic. She'll bounce around a lot. She ends up talking about things that are not a common interest, like little to no interest to the other person in the conversation. She ends up elaborating about certain subjects. Even if you have no knowledge of that, she'll just kind of elaborate. Like, an example would be like, oh, here's a TV show that you've never seen, beyond, hey, that's a good TV show, you should check it out, and this is why. It's like a very detailed thing about this TV show, and it's a one-sided conversation. If you haven't seen it or whatever, she would just elaborate on things like that. She doesn't have a great memory of stuff that she says, or like even actions she's taken. Like, if she's giving the girls certain things, like she'll be like, oh, that's cute, when they're wearing something, and then I'll be like, yeah, you gave that to him. She doesn't remember. There's not a whole lot of, well, obviously there's not a lot of filter, or no filter. And then she just, nothing sticks. Nothing stays in her head. Like, she doesn't remember stuff she said. She doesn't remember stuff you said, for the most part. It all kind of just goes in one ear and out the other, and it's just, it doesn't stay in there. And so if you, and where that gets complicated, if you set a boundary about something and say, oh, we don't do this, this is why, whatever, it's not going to stay in her head. And so that gets complicated. So like, no, the girls can't have juice, you know, after 5 o'clock, or they shouldn't have sweets after this, you know, it doesn't stay in her head at all. So that gets really complicated with somebody that you're trying to communicate with, and like, you know, it just gets really complicated, and it also, it's frustrating. So anyway. He put me, after they left, on the floor crying for like several hours, just broken down weeping. I was just really broken down after that happened. I don't know how to respond to that either. Yeah, I think ultimately it was better because I wasn't having to play into those dynamics that I didn't think were healthy. And there were several. So I didn't have to play into those anymore. And there was a lot of unwanted advice. There was a lot of judgment. There was a lot of meddling. There was a lot of getting into my business. There was a lot of boundaries that were not being respected, and things like that. And it just became something I was really closed off from. I just didn't feel like I could confide in her. There was lots of things that happened, but you know, I just didn't really feel like I could confide in her. I felt judged with a capital J, underlined exclamation point. I just really felt judged. And I know that, and I know that intellectually, but it's still hard to deal with when things come out in sort of a cruel, insensitive way. I just don't engage that much, which I wish I engaged more. I can't.